What? Oh, I do not consent to be recorded on this recorded line. Do not record me.
Bad shots, bad shots, bad shots, bad shots. Chatting with MattTheBat. You chat, I chat, we chat, I'm fat. Chatting with MattTheBat. Yeah!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of MattTheBat's Batshit Shit Show. Wowee! It feels so good to be here in the studio with all of you. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Bat Chats. It's a series where I interview unique people with unique perspectives. If you didn't know that already, I'd like you to hit that like button, followed by the subscribe button, and the little bell notification. Ding! I drop videos like this weekly, and you're gonna want to be subscribed, so let's go, let's fucking go! So guys, before we get into it, I want to apologize for my voice. I am a bit under the weather, so I'm sounding like an 80-year-old smoker or some shit, but luckily the man coming on the show has a sweet enough voice to carry us through the entire episode. Yes, I'm very jealous of his voice, but also of his beard, and his height too. Like it's not fair with this fucking guy, you know? Everybody please welcome the one, the only, Trent Lenkarski! Woo! Trent!
Hello, everyone.
Hey man, how's it going?
It's pretty good, pretty good. Happy to be here.
You mind giving the audience a little taste of that sweet, sweet voice?
Sure, yeah. This is it. This is the voice that I have. I use it to talk, and I sometimes use it for characters and stuff, and yeah.
That's amazing, man. Where'd you get a voice like that, my man? Where'd that come from?
From my parents, honestly, yeah.
Oh, everybody, let's give a huge round of applause for Trent's parents. Woohoo!
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
You know, Trent, you're my first encounter with the Trent in the wild, and you're kind of not what I expected from a Trent, you know?
No, what does that mean?
Trent's like a real athlete guy, like you're like an artsy dude, and I feel like Trent's like a football playing kind of guy. Do you agree?
I guess so. Yeah, I have heard that stereotype, I guess. Yeah, there's a football player that was like popular when I was born that had the name Trent, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, man, you've kind of surprised me in quite a few ways. Like, just to give a little backstory, we don't really know each other that well. We met one time in LA back in April at the Insano house.
Yes.
And when I met you, I didn't know anything about you. I didn't know you were a YouTuber. I didn't know you were an actor. I just met you there, and I was like, this guy's awesome. And like, you had the really cool, like, chill, soft-spoken vibe. And then later on, I find out that you're a YouTuber, and I start watching your videos, and I find out you're an amazing actor, an amazing writer. Like, I was just totally caught off guard by you, man.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really nice. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I'm curious, like, who are your inspirations? Like, who did you grow up watching, and who kind of inspired your channel?
Honestly, my channel, the main inspiration is like Joel Haver. He's like my best friend. We were really good friends in high school and everything, and then a few years ago we started hanging out again, and we just got really close, and I just kind of fell in love with like the video making process and everything.
Yeah, man, I love that creative bond between you guys. And one thing that's really special about him too, and just to say, like, I think he's a f***ing genius. I started watching his videos same time as I started watching yours, so I was kind of like really excited to be introduced to this group you have going, like a really solid group of creatives who are like really into all sorts of things, like live action skits, animation, and all of you guys are really talented writers too, which is what I really was drawn to. Even though, you know, I do animation, all that stuff, like the writing to me is like, with all of you guys, just like, I don't understand how you're all so fucking good, you know?
That's funny. Yeah. A lot of times we don't actually write it, so it's a lot of times.
Oh my god!
Pretty much everything's improv. Yeah.
Damn, that's actually, I had no clue, and that's actually shocking to hear because it feels so like fleshed out. And I don't know, every time I see a video specifically with you in it, there's some sort of chemistry that you and Joel have, which is really special. And I could tell that you guys like have known each other for a while and kind of both feel very comfortable in that creative element together. And I love that personally.
Very true. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to describe, but yeah, it's just like a really good bond.
I love that, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, just kind of similar senses of humor, and then a lot of it does come together in editing. So like we'll do like, it's improv, but we do a lot of like takes and stuff, and like certain ones just work better, certain lines will just work better and stuff. So I kind of like it better than, I don't know, better than using a script, I guess. I don't know. It depends on the situation. Yeah. Sometimes scripts are definitely better.
Don't break the formula, man. It's working for you guys. So were you inspired by Joe Pera at all? Because I see like in the comments a lot of people sort of compare that like similar warmth to Joe Pera, you know?
Not originally, no. I it's funny. I started getting a lot of comments like that, and even Joel kind of like mentioned it. He's like, yeah, you do kind of sound like him. And I for a while I like avoided watching his show because I didn't want to like watch it and then be like, oh, that's like accidentally take the style. But yeah, I have definitely gotten that before. It's a very nice compliment, and I love it. I do love Joe Pera. I did end up watching his show, and a few of them made me cry a lot because he's amazing too.
Yeah, man, I'm so glad to hear that you found that with him, because like that's a similar feeling that I find with listening to your stuff. Like I think what you do really, really well is you kind of have the similar element of like quietness to your videos that Joe does, where it's like you have like, you know, you might be doing a poem, or you might just be talking to the camera, or sitting in a chair watching Olympic dishwashing, like something like that. It's like you always find these really mundane, quiet moments to say something really nice, and not a lot of people do that. I don't do that on my show. Like there's so much going on in my show. I never leave room for words as much as you do, and I think that tells a lot about how much people love your voice and how much people love what you have to say. You know. I
guess I will be giving you a challenge for this episode. leave in space, leave in silence, yeah. Sometimes it's important to include that, I guess.
There's just gonna be 10 minutes of fucking nothing. Everyone's gonna be like, what the fuck, is this a glitch? And yeah, man, it's like and then I see you sort of transitioning to animation, which I talked about a little bit earlier, and I really liked your video Cranberry Court. That was really well done. I thought that was like, it was cool that was like your first fully fleshed out animation, I think, right?
Yes, that's the longest one on my channel. That was actually not animated by me. I just want to make that clear. That was animated by one of my really good friends, Alice Langlois. She's an incredible animator, stop motion animator. She makes like costumes and stuff, but yeah, that one's by her. I've done the ones I do are a little simpler. It's usually just like mouth movements and stuff, but yeah, I very recently fallen in love with animating, and I hope to get a lot better at it these coming months, this coming year, and everything.
Yeah, man. Well, I like the stuff that you've done that you've animated as well too, like the one with you did with the one with the plants, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's great stuff, man. It's like,
thank you.
And I talked about this with Dimitri, who you know, the talentless writer, and
of course, I love Dimitri.
Yeah,
that guy's awesome.
Who doesn't, man? And with Danny Casal, Cool Man Coffee Dan, like two other animators who have kind of used that like minimal style to make something really special, and like it's just so effective, and especially within your world, as I said, of like someone who doesn't need a lot of flashy shit to get their point across.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's it exactly. Is like, it's sometimes it's not so much the style itself, it's what's kind of being said and what the characters are doing that's more important. As long as like the dialogue is like entertaining and engaging enough, you don't need like a ton of like super like flashy visuals. Of course, that's always good, but you don't always need it, I think.
It's funny what you said earlier too about the Joe Pera thing, like being afraid to like embrace the influences people want you to have. Because I have something really similar. Like people who watch my show, obviously I get like this feels like kind of like old school Nickelodeon vibe, like stuff like that. But I also get Space Ghost, and I purposely not watching that for the exact reason, because I don't want to, which I know I love it, which is killing me, but like I didn't even know about it until people started like commenting on my videos, same thing. So it's very interesting that you said that.
Yeah, watch it.
I will. I think I'm in enough now. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was very hesitant, and I was actually talking to Alice. I know I just mentioned her about that, and I was like, I don't want to watch it because I don't want people to think I'm like trying to copy it. And she's like, just watch it. It's, you know, all art exists. No art exists in a vacuum. So like you're allowed to watch things and I guess like, you know, be inspired by them, even if they already are similar to what you do.
Totally. Like where would anybody be without their inspirations? Musicians, or like fine artists, like anything, you know, people find something they resonate with and they want to make something similar. And like you kind of had that with Joel, and like somebody's gonna have that with you, man. Like someone's gonna look at what you're doing and they're gonna be like, this is really cool, I think I could do this. And like I think the fact that you are such like a normal dude who's not so like YouTubey and so like, you know, there's no ego behind it, which I think a lot of people will more easily relate to, you know, the average person who wants to get into this kind of stuff. So I like that.
No, for sure. Yeah, and I don't have any, for the most part, I don't really have any background in like acting or filmmaking or anything. I did band a lot, so I'm kind of used to being in front of people, I guess, but that's playing an instrument, so that's not the same as like talking in front of people, I guess. But yes, I genuinely think that anyone can make anything, anyone can create something, and that's kind of why I started doing the animations. Is I have no background in that, so I just kind of wanted to see like, oh, if I just draw a picture and then do different mouths at different times, it looks like a person talking. Like I know it's simple, but it's like anyone could do that.
Right.
That's kind of why I do like post those ones, because I know they're not great, but like I'd love to look back at them in like 10 years if I'm doing like really good animations, or even my videos. Some of my videos I'm like, it's not that good, but I'd love to look back on it in like 5 or 10 years and be like, oh, look at how much I've learned. And it just started with these kind of things, and I think anyone could do that.
Got some sirens.
Got some LA action. Yeah.
You know, I wanted to talk to you about LA. This is a perfect segue because because we don't know each other that well, I feel like there's a piece of your history that I'm kind of missing. Because like when you and I met each other, we connected right away. We're like, you know, we started, I don't know how it came up, but I found out that you went to UNH and I'm from New Haven area. So I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. We have some mutual friends. I spent a lot of time at UNH. We're the same grade. Like I definitely felt that, you know, New England connection right off the bat with you. And I also didn't know that Joel was from Massachusetts either. Like this was all like shocking to me, because when you're in LA, it feels so different to be from somewhere specifically in New England, you know, in my opinion.
For sure, yeah.
So you moved to LA recently, or like when did this happen?
Yes, it was in February of this year. So
Wow.
about, what is it? Just 9 months? Oh my goodness. That's a baby.
How you feeling about it so far?
I like it. It has its ups and downs for sure. I've kind of become like addicted to the lifestyle of just always having something to do, which is nice. Because like back home, I would just, you know, I'd work and then film something with Joel, and that was like my day. But it's like here, it's like, oh, like I'll work and then I'll film something with Joel, and then film something with Chad, and then film something for myself, and then edit something, and you just kind of get addicted to that lifestyle. And then and there's shows you can go to, movies. I don't know, I like it a lot. I do miss the woods though. I miss the woods, I miss the weather.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what I was going to ask you about. Like, especially because like I feel like so much of your earlier videos revolved around New England and the scenery. And even recently, I think like a couple days ago, you posted a video about like how the leaves feel being in New England. Like you feel the seasons changing, and like that's something that I really identify with, and like have always really been like, you know, even coming out to, I live in Texas now, and like this is my first time not having a season in my life, so I'm kind of just like, what the hell, you know? So like how has it affected your writing, you know? Like, man. Yeah. Me too, man.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely has affected how I create. Because a lot of my time would be spent on the weekends, like going on hikes and stuff, and just like having nothing in my brain, which is the opposite of what I just said. Like I feel like here I always have something going on, always have something to stress about or do. But back home it was a lot of just like emptiness, like good emptiness though, not sad emptiness. I guess both. But so I guess it's kind of changed my sense of humor in a way.
Yeah.
And I guess how I do jokes, and how I don't know actually. Like I like to think I haven't changed much, but I feel like I definitely have.
I think it's safe to say that like, while like your videos are basically similar, like you just did your month of Halloween, like October poems and everything, has that similar vibe. Like I think it's just inside of you. But like I'm always so, you know, just being from New England, like I'm so obsessed with like the pride of being from there, that like when I go somewhere else, I'm like, it's very much like a, you know, am I gonna change type of feeling. And it's very strange, and it hasn't happened yet, but it's just something that I think about with certain people, you know? I think my overall demeanor hasn't really changed, but I think my internal thought process has changed, if that makes sense. Yeah, you're still a Masshole at heart, is what you're telling me.
Absolutely.
Forever Masshole. Tell me about what you've been doing with Hulu, because I saw this recently that you had something to do with a little Hulu project. You were very like, in typical Trent fashion, you were very modest about it, and you just posted like a little story, just like, hey, I was on this Hulu show, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
what the dude, congrats.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This past month, it was called I believe it's called the Poloni Show Halloween Special, and it's hosted by Justin Roiland, and it's just a collection of a bunch of like different animators and artists, and it's kind of like an anthology thing. So I think it had like probably 8 to 10 different like shorts in it, and one of them was Joel's, and I'm in it, and it's funny that I use like a really weird, goofy voice for it, not my usual voice. So I forgot one of the cool part about it, I guess. Another cool part. One of the other people in the sketch that I'm in is Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, and a lot of other characters.
Wild, bro. Dude, that man's IMDb is like through the roof. Like he basically voiced like 90% of Nick characters in the 90s. Like just insane,
Mm-hmm. And then very recently I started rewatching Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which is one of my favorite shows, and I was like, oh, he plays like a ton of characters in that. He voices Eduardo, and then he does a bunch of like side characters, and I was like, I would never have made that connection.
No way, he does Eduardo. I mean, that makes sense, I guess. Like, damn, that guy is versatile. That's like, I mean, you literally voice acted with the voice acting king. Like, I can't even believe that.
Yeah. And then I went to luchador wrestling with him like 4 times.
I've been hearing about these stories, man. That's so cool.
It's so surreal. It feels like a Mad Libs thing.
It does, right? It's like, and it's so funny because even, I've worked at Nick for like 5 years. I've never met him. I've never been in a room with him. I was in one room with him, but I didn't see him because it was an empty auditorium. Well, an empty airport hangar where we were filming Kids' Choice Awards, like the day after I met you, basically.
Oh.
He was doing the voiceover of like the show over the announcer, and I was like looking everywhere because I really wanted to meet him, because like I've heard nothing but amazing things from everybody I've talked to that's worked with him for, some people have been working with him for like 20, 30 years, like so nothing but amazing things, like truly a genuine legend of television.
Yes, he's got so much energy. I don't get how he has so much energy. He's got like more energy than me, and I'm like, I don't get it. He's amazing. He's something else.
Do you think that voice acting is something that, I mean, you already do it now, but like commercially, did you ever think about getting into that?
Possibly. I could see it. Yeah. One thing I think I might have mentioned, I don't think I mentioned it to you. I mentioned it to a couple of people, but like I'd really love to kind of do a similar thing to like what like Zach Hadel has done with Smiling Friends, where I'd love to like have kind of my own show, but I'd keep it like, I'd like to keep it on YouTube and stuff, because all I've heard is I listened to a bunch of his interviews, and it just sounds like such a nightmare dealing with like producers and stuff, and you have to get everything approved. It's like, but I'd love to make like kind of a more professional kind of show, and then like, just have my friends voice act in it and stuff. But I would love to do that. But yeah, it'd be cool to do something like commercially, like in a movie or something. That'd be really cool. Even the thing with like Hulu, that was amazing. I was like really glad I got to do it.
Yeah, man. I feel like, gigs like that are just the craziest, like, resume boosters, and like, and obviously like they pay well and everything like that. But yeah, I feel like YouTube has been the move for a lot of animators recently. And you have one, Alex, who's in your friend group.
Yes.
I mean,
it's him that I was
amazing.
talking with about it.
Oh yeah, really?
But yeah, Alex is amazing too.
Yeah, he's great. I want to have him on the show too eventually, because like,
oh yes.
I know, it's just like true. Like, I love your group in particular. Like, I love all the little groups that you guys have in your network. Like, you have like, like the Churdleys group with like Spencer and Blake and Ryan and all them, and then you have like your group. And like, while I love both, for different reasons, like your group to me is more of like, the mixed media that I like. Like, you guys get weird with it, and I think it's so cool how you experiment with it, even with like Good Long P and like all the stuff that you guys do that's just like little insane little things,
No, we have so many little groups. It's so, a lot of them are intersecting very recently, and it's really cool. Yeah, Alex, you have to get him on your show. He would love to be on, I'm sure. He's an amazing animator. His series Freaks of the Wasteland is amazing. Joel's in it, I'm in it. I think Noak Eric's in it, I think. Or he might be, but I don't know. But yeah, Alex is awesome. Noak Eric is awesome. He's a little subgroup we have. We have a little group. There's another animator, Dean Soups. And we have our little group chat. It's called the Dream Team, and it's me, Joel, Alex, and Noak Eric, and Dean. And we just like do a bunch of stuff, make a bunch of little animations and stuff.
Yeah, so it's like I love those organic, like based in art relationships, and I think it's so cool that you were able to find that in LA.
Yeah, me too. I'm very happy.
Just to kind of circle back, a little full circle moment, talking about that sweet voice that we opened up with.
Thank you.
One thing that I think is really interesting about you is in your Welcome to My Channel video, which was a couple years ago now, I think maybe a year or two ago, you mentioned in it that you never thought in your life that people would like your voice. Is that true?
Yes. I always struggled with self-confidence growing up. Sorry, I need water.
It's getting tense in here.
Yeah. I'm sweating. I'm dying. The lights are pointed at me. I'm dying. No, but yeah, like growing up, I did always have a lot of self-confidence issues, and one of them was my voice. I never liked it. I have a really specific memory of like hanging out with my friends, and you know, like when you're a little like 7 or 8 year old and you have a little camera and you make a little video, and I remember watching the video back and I was like, wait, is that what I sound like? Because like in your head you sound differently than how you actually sound to people. And I was like, I just hated it. I was like, that's what I sound like to everyone all the time, and it just like stuck with me. And yeah, and I never liked my voice, and
damn,
I don't know. And then eventually in like college is when I finally was like, whatever, like I can become a new person in college. I don't know everyone from high school. I can be a new guy. And yeah, when I started doing stuff with Joel, and that really helped me like realize like, like my voice is okay. And then yeah, people would comment that they like my voice, and yeah.
I mean, they really like it, man. Someone even went as far to comment that they wish that they could wear your voice like socks. I mean, that's commitment right there. That is true love and admiration, man.
Very, very good comment. Yes.
I think that's so special, and I didn't know this backstory, obviously. And as I said, I don't really know you, but what I think is really cool is like what was once a huge insecurity to you has become, you know, your business, like has become your livelihood in a lot of ways. And like now you have over 40,000 people who fucking love your voice and are going to tell you it every time you post a video. Like that is so cool. Like I always wished I wouldn't be a freckly and I'll never grow out of that. But like you, at least, you know, you've overcome that. And I think that's really special. And that's going to be really inspiring to someone who's, you know, really doesn't want to hear themselves be recorded and it might have amazing things to say, you know? So that's great, man.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I think that's another thing too, is I think everyone has a great voice. I think, you know, there's so many characters that exist that, you know, you could animate or even just play as a person. It's like, there's so many characters, like there's always a need for a voice for a character. It doesn't matter what your voice sounds like.
That's poetic, man. Yeah, this is such an ironic episode that happens as I'm fucking dying of potential COVID right now.
That we rescheduled because I'm sick, and now you're quite sick as well.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on this episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say. You have any message to your any new people that might want to watch your stuff?
Yeah, I guess I'd just say, you know, you're allowed to be creative. Like don't let like a job or a certain title define like who you are, or, you know, try and limit your creativity based on that. Just like, you know, after a long day of work, you're allowed to go home and like write a poem or doodle a goofy sketch. Like you're allowed to make stuff, and, you know, it doesn't really matter what it is. You just, you know, make something.
Yeah, I like that, man. I think a lot of people in my network will really like to hear you say that. That was great.
Thank you.
Everybody, Trent's links will be listed below. Please make sure to go check him out and join his Patreon. You know, follow all his social media, everything like that. Please also, if you don't mind, make sure to like this video. Comment how much you love Trent. Comment about his beautiful baby blues, you know. Maybe even hit that subscribe button and the little bell notification. Ding! Like the video.
Show it to your mom. Show it to your grandma.
Yes, please. Grandmas love MattTheBat, right? I'm MattTheBat for MattTheBat's Bat Shit Show. God, I can't wait to fucking blow my nose and fucking clear my throat. Thank you so much for dealing with me and with my voice on this episode. And as always, make sure to tune in next week, or else.
Or else.
Dude, you might be the first person that actually did it.
What?
Every episode, you just broke the curse. No, that was...
Oh.
You're literally supposed to do that. That's my Nardwar moment. Like, nobody
cool.
knows. You're supposed to say, or else, after me. And you were the first person in 18 of these interviews.
18
You're the
years,
first person.
18 long, hard years. I was the first person to do it.
Wow.
Cool.
It's like, I don't even know what to do now. Normally I say, this is where you say, or else, but you already said it. That's crazy.
Cool.
Thank you,
Thanks for listening, everyone. Love you.